Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Restorations and Repairs. Today, another cool scan tool review. It's the iCarsoft CR Max P, and it is a professional level diagnostic scan tool. We're going to take it out and show you some of the things it can do as part of bidirectional controls and live data and customizing settings, all that jazz. But let's take a look at it here. It does come in a nice soft case, and we'll see what's inside of it here. I'll get the camera closer in just a second here, but I figured we'd just go through this real quick. Now, this is a nice 10-inch screen, which is nice for me, like glasses, can't see, so that's really nice. Professional, fast, smart, and powerful, it says here. And in English, you are looking at, let's see here, 20 pages in English, and this is going to go over probably some of the basic features and functions of it. Let's see, well, there's actually some information on here that's worth something. Android is 8.10. I am a little disappointed in that. I think we're up to Android like 13 or 14 now. That could leave this open to trouble, I guess. Quad core 1.3 gigahertz, 64 gig of storage, 10.1 inch with 1280 by 800 resolution. Yeah. Okay, all right, so the tool itself, it's a beast. I love it. Look at that, right? First impressions, I like it. Got a nice, good grip on the side. It's not too heavy, but it also tells you that it's there. On the back, it's got like a holster for the Bluetooth dongle, and the Bluetooth dongle, oh, if I can't get it, oh, it's probably dead right now. This is cool. The Bluetooth dongle has a little button. If you ever struggle to figure out where the heck to plug the thing in, it's got a little LED light. And once this thing is charged up for a little bit, it will actually light the way so you can find where you need to put that thing. This I like. 2 speakers on the back, power button up top, a little cover here for I/O, USB and USB-C. That would probably be for charging and for transferring files. And that's it. So no camera on this. A little disappointed in that, but it does have a kickstand, and I do love a good kickstand. Thankfully, it does come with that. All right, let me get the camera closer in. We'll get this set up here so you all can see it. We'll turn it on. We'll go through the stuff you need to know here on the bench. Then we're going to take it out to a car with a bunch of computers and see what it can do. Let's go. All right, while that's loading up, I do also want to point out that it comes with a wall wart, a USB to USB-C connection for charging, a nice screen cleaner, and this is important. So it has a USB to LAN connection, a nice Ethernet LAN line, and a way to use the dongle and then hook it to the car and then hook the LAN line in. So if we're going to do programming, this tool can definitely do programming. It is set up for that. And that is one of the many reasons that this thing is set apart from your average scan tool, where bidirectional controls might be included, but it's not really capable of doing it all. This one is capable of doing it all. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. So it is definitely Android based. Ooh, how pretty is that? I like the layout already, I gotta tell you. That's nice. All right, let's take a look at the about on this, see if there's anything we missed. CR Max P, and storage, like I said, is 64 gig total. Of course, some of that's used by the system. All right, and we have quick links. That's going to take us out onto the web, YouTube, Bing, Google, SAE, iCarsoft, and you can add it. So you can have some like quick to get to, like I would add Identifix, and we use ShopKey Pro and all data. So I would add those there, probably Napa for ordering parts, stuff like that. So that's cool that it has that right built in. Remote desktop, you run into an issue you can't fix, there's mechanics worldwide that are willing to give you a hand. Support is there as well. That's more for run into a car where everything's supposed to be working and like you gotta function, like ABS doesn't connect, and you know the car has ABS and you know it's functioning. Well, then that's a problem with the software update, and you get into that. It allows you to get in there and fix that stuff up. Shop info, I can change this around, right? I can put my shop name, address, all that, and I can I can set that up so that whenever I send something to a customer, they know that's coming from me. I mean, there's places even for your website and all the rest, which I think is really nice. Customer info, we can add customers. So when we get a car to work on, you're all set there. You add their information in, that way they come back with the same or different problems. Well, you know, you know what's going on. Let's get into settings. All right, VCI binding, we already got it set up. USB, what kind of units we want, we'll stick with metric. Language, data log, Wi-Fi, brightness, screen setup, vehicle sorted by, system settings, and restore. That's where you're at there, so that's pretty cool. I just want to, you know, it's always this like fine dance. If you turn it up too bright, sometimes it'll wash it out, but that looks okay for y'all. Okay, back to the first page. We have a code library that's going to be like, what's a PO 441? Well, I know it's an evap code, but you might not, so this way we can look that stuff up. Vehicle history, that's going to be cars you worked on recently. Now, there is some stuff you can add on to this. There's a battery tester module and a video scope, bore scope. Those are both cool things you can get for this. Let's take a look at service, and I'm not going to name off all of them, but as you can see, this is going to be extremely fully functioned, right? Air filter control, there's one you don't see in many. Crankshaft learning, rain light sensor, start, stop, turbo. Wow. Heads up display, radar. Yeah, I mean, it's there. Seatbelt, right? I want to get that seatbelt dinger to turn off. All right, so you have your upgrade. You can do updates through that. And then lastly, we get into diagnostics, and you got, you know, all the vehicles and stuff. So at that point, hey, let's take it outside and figure this thing out. So I'm going to take it out. We're going to hook it up to a Sienna, and it's got a bunch of computers on it. So we'll see what kind of digging we can do, what kind of controlling we can do. Let's do it. All right, well, here we are in the car, and I guess before I go on with anything else here, we'll take a quick look at all these good stuff here. Let's go to all. And you can see we got cars for the end of the time here. It covers all your major brands and all your minor brands as well. But for us, we're going to be going into Toyota, and it's going to go ahead and there it goes. And it's just also talking, if you notice that right there, just saying, hey, we can also use the USB cable. It'll be a little quicker. So we're in North America. We'll go with that. And let's automatically identify the car if possible. And the sun is going to be a problem today. Ignition is on. Let's read the VIN. Found that instantly. And we've got our car. It does have laser cruise. It does have memory seat, and it does have vehicle traction control. And there it is. All right, we can do an auto scan. And it is popping through these pretty quick. I like that. All right, I moved over to the other seat here, just trying to get the glare off of this thing. All right, so look at that. We're done. And you can see it got into every subsystem. And the only system it's saying it has a fault with here is the AC. So let's get into that system first. And let's read those fault codes. B1400, I'm not familiar with that one, but it's saying that whatever it is, it must have been a history code. Then we can clear it. And then while we're here, let's get into data, and I'll just take a look. So we're getting into the climate control subsystems already. We're getting outside of the normal, low end or mid-grade scan tool type stuff. This is already pro level. And let's see what it can do here. All right, so we got a bunch of stuff starting to come in here. Coolant temp, dampener positions, and then we can change those. So if you had a blend door motor or something like that was acting squirrely, this would be an opportunity to fix that stuff. And let me see if I can change any of this on you. We'll change the modes. There you go. You can see that stuff starting to move. Cool. So, I mean, it's working already. That's really nice. All right, let's take a look at actuator tests. So we have the ability to turn on and off all this stuff. We can turn the blower motor on. We can change the dampener positions, right? So if you're looking at something that has issues where the customer's hearing a clicking noise when they try to change it, that you're not sure which one it is, this will narrow it down. This will narrow it down, okay? So that's kind of cool. Blower motor also, is the button bad? Is the resistor bad? Is the motor bad? We can check it with that. That's awesome. Already that's a little deeper than some of the other tools. So it's a little deeper than Launch and Autel, I believe. All right, let's get out of that. Let's get into control units here. And let's screw around with the engine here just for a bit. Of course, we know how to read and clear, but let's take a look here just to show you live data again. Because every system on this car is going to have live data. What really sets a pro level scan tool apart in 2026 is that is the bidirectional controls, honestly, and the special functions. So can we reset or change the manner that the car acts at certain states? All right, I'm just going to roll through all these. Coolant temp, calculated load, short-term fuel trim, MAF, runtime. I mean, this is it goes on. I mean, here to give you an idea, it just goes. It's got every single thing that is available on this car. That's pretty awesome. And if you want to narrow it down, here we go. So we have our short-term fuel trim, grams per second coming out of the air mass meter, the MAF sensor, and killing it. Super fast. You can also show that as, you know, dials and as flow charts and as text and as like a bar graph, which is kind of neat, kind of weird, and then information. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so actuation tests on the engine. Now I've got mine running right now, so I can't press any of these, but injection volume, fuel cylinder cutout, VVT learn. I mean, these are all the things you can do. So if I had a VVT code, now I know how to get in there and actually manually activate it to see if I can hear it clicking. If I don't hear it clicking, I've clearly got a failed one, right? I mean, it's amazing. Vacuum pump, cooling fan. Fuel pump speed control, starter relay, you name it. This has got to be one of the most in-depth scan tools I've looked at all year. In fact, I think this is going to end up being the most professional level or the deepest level of diagnostics all year. That's awesome. Wow. All right, let me back out of that. And let's see here. Let's take a look at the body. There's a lot going on with the body here. All right, so fault code, clear, view data. Again, we can look at the data on this. Just showing you this is like full featured, right? Door open warning, how long it takes before it locks, panic function, car finder function is off. Oh, had no idea it even had that. I might turn that on for my wife. Wireless auto lock time. So there's stuff here we don't want, like, where is it? Passive mode, door control, security, lighting time. You can change a lot of this stuff too. Light control, stoplight switch we can turn on and off, obviously. So, and that's some of this stuff. So mirror switch, like those kind of things. If you're looking to see if these are working, press the button, you know. We can lock the doors and you can see that switch very rapidly. And like sport mode, I don't think if this thing even have sport mode. I don't think it does. A sport mode in a minivan. Back door open. I mean, look, it's just going to keep going. And this is also, I would say, the most in-depth amount of, gosh, yeah, that's the most in-depth amount of stuff that I've seen as far as the full data here. This ought to be interesting here. Actuation test. We can turn on the hazards remotely. Let's see here. It might be hard for y'all to see it, but right. So diagnosing a bad switch. Now I'm just using a simple one here, but diagnosing a bad switch is pretty darn easy when you can activate this stuff directly. They got all kinds of stuff here. Good Lord. Rear defogger on and off, wiper motor. So that's pretty cool. Seat reclining, headrest operation, cushion length. This causes vehicle parts to move. Mine is not equipped with cushion length extender, but I know that Lexus offers that on some of their vehicles. That's pretty cool. All right, so it really gets into it. There's no doubt about that. Let's see what else we can find on this tool. This is I'm excited about this stuff. All right, let's take a look at service on this vehicle and see what we come up with on it, and then that'll wrap the video up. Okay, so it has scanned the whole car again to determine what's available. Battery matching, tire pressure monitor, which is not correct right now, seat, radar cruise control changes, ABS bleeding, body stability, immobilizer, injector coating, ECM, and miscellaneous. Let's see what miscellaneous. Check mode, beam axis adjustment. Good Lord, don't mess with that, my friends. Body stability. Let's see what's in there that we can do. Okay, we can reset it. We got an inspection mode and we got a test mode. Immobilizer. Let's see about the seat. 0-point calibration and sensitivity. So we don't want airbags going off when we don't need them to. As you can see, I'm sitting in the passenger side, so my airbag is on for the passenger side. But let's say, and this happens quite a bit at work, a female comes in, she has a pretty, she carries everything she owns in her purse. And she slows that on the passenger seat every time she gets in the car, and the light will either come on or it'll flash. We can calibrate that a little better for her to make that closer to 0. I've done that for customers. And then we have a sensitivity check you can also do with this. Tire pressure monitor, we can register new sensors, which I have done. I put new sensors in this car not too long ago. If I had known, I could have used this. Nice. And then radar camera information, all that jazz. Really cool. Okay, let's get out of that. Let's get out of the whole thing. Yeah, a little heads up warning display there. Ah, man, I got to tell you, I'm really, I'm happy. I'm really happy with this. Nice tool, snappy. Okay, so I've shown you all the stuff it can do. Here's some extra stuff that it does as well. It is not a locked system. You can get in here and you have access to the Android system underneath. Now, it is missing, if you look, like I don't think it has any way of accessing the Play Store, but there are ways around that. You get into Chrome, you find it automatically, and you can download software through there. So there's just a little tip for you if you want to add, all data, shop key, Identifix, those kind of things can also be added as apps. Napa has a great app that I put on some of these tools that I get, and it works really well. So there are ways. The only things I'm going to ding this on, honestly, like I said, the Android version, a little old, but since you're not going to be going, crazy with doing extra stuff with this, like using it as a tablet instead of just a scan tool, that's probably not that big of an issue. It's just something worth pointing out. And the only other thing I'd ding it on would be that it does lack a camera. But honestly, if I had to give a choice between having a kickstand or a camera, I'm going with the kickstand. So that's my opinion. Anyway, I'll leave a link to where you can get it. Okay, so I think I said it before. I'll leave a link to where I can get this thing, but of all the scan tools that I have reviewed in 2026, this is probably the most professional level or highest end scan tool that I've come across. Gets into more systems and has more PIDs than any of the scan tools I've looked at this year. So keep that in mind when considering your choices. Till next time, my friend, take care.